Hello, my dear students. How are you? I hope that you will be very fine, and I am also very fine. Today, I am going to discuss the question bank of IIT JEE, and the chapter name is Work Power Energy. Chapter name is Work Power Energy. Now, I am going to solve question number first. Here, question number first is based on assertion and reason. Assertion and reason. If assertion and reason both are true, reason is correct explanation of assertion also, then the correct option will be A. And if assertion and reason both are true, but reason is not correct explanation of assertion, then we select option number B. If assertion is true and reason is false, then we select option number C. If assertion is false and reason is true, then we select option number D. D is the correct option. Now I am going to read assertion. What is assertion? Assertion is a block of mass m starts moving on rough horizontal surface with velocity v. It stops due to friction. If surfaces of contact are rough, then there will be a force which always opposes the tendency of relative motion called as friction. I have already taught you. Here, a block of mass m starts moving on a rough horizontal surface with velocity v. Surface is rough, therefore a friction force will act in opposite direction of velocity. It stops due to friction between the velocity and the surface after moving through a certain distance. The surface is now tilted to an angle. Tilted करने का मतलब भाई उठाया गया है कितना एंगल से 30 डिग्री से. With the horizontal, and the same block is made to go up on the surface with same initial velocity v. According to question, first surface is horizontal surface, and now this surface is elevated with what angle? 30 degree. Then according to question, this is a rough surface and this is a rough surface. Now according to question, the surface with same initial velocity is given. The decrease in mechanical energy in second situation is smaller than that in first situation. This is correct or wrong? This is correct statement. Here a block is kept on this surface. Normal reaction, this is normal reaction, and gravitational force will be mg, and friction coefficient is mu. Then friction will be mu mg, but at this surface, suppose a block is kept of same mass m. This is normal reaction and this is gravitational force. What will be normal reaction here? Normal reaction will be mg cos 30 degree. mg cos 30 degree, right? And another component of this gravitational force will be mg sin theta. Okay, this force is broken into two components, mg cos theta and mg sin theta, where theta is 30 degree. Therefore, n should be equal to mg cos 30 degree. Okay, cos 30 degree is root 3 by 2. Therefore, normal reaction will be root 3 mg by 2. Here friction will be mu n, since friction coefficient will be same as this, because the nature of surfaces, this surface is elevated, therefore nature of surfaces will be same, and hence friction coefficient will be also same. Friction will be mu n. N is root 3 m by 2 into mu. Which is greater? This is greater quantity. This is F1 and this is F2. Therefore, F1 greater than F2. Okay? But region, according to region, the coefficient of friction between the block and the surface decreases with increasing the angle of inclination. We know that coefficient of friction depends on nature of surfaces of contact and temperature of surfaces of contact, and also depends on humidity. But coefficient of friction does not depend on angle of elevation. Okay? Therefore, this statement, therefore region is wrong. Region is wrong, means false. Assertion is true, region is false. Therefore, answer should be option number C. Assertion is true. Why it is true? A block of mass m starts moving on a rough horizontal surface with velocity v. It stops due to friction between the block and the surface, because friction opposes velocity. Therefore, velocity gradually decreases and finally the particle stops. The surface is now tilted to an inclination 30 degree with the horizontal. The same block is made to go up on surface with same velocity. The decrease in mechanical energy in the second situation is smaller than that in first situation. Here friction is more, therefore mechanical energy decreases more, but here friction energy is less, but here friction force is less, therefore energy lost by friction will be less. Here friction is more, therefore here loss of energy is also more. Okay? Now I am going to discuss question number 2. According to this question, two masses of 1 gram and 4 gram are moving with equal kinetic energy. Here kinetic energy of both blocks are equal. The ratio of magnitude of their momenta. What is the relation between kinetic energy and momentum? Momentum, square of momentum should be equal to 2mk. It can be also written as k should be equal to p square by 2m. Okay, therefore p should be equal to root under 2m. Kinetic energy is same for both blocks, both masses. Therefore this quantity will remain constant and this quantity will remain constant. Therefore p is directly proportional to root under mass, square root of mass. Therefore ratio of momenta P1 by P2 is equal to root under m1 by m2. m1 is 1 gram and m2 is 4 gram. Therefore 1 upon 2. Therefore P1 is to P2 should be equal to 1 is to 2, which is correct. Option C is the correct option. Okay. Relation between kinetic energy and momentum. We know that relation between kinetic and momentum will be k should be equal to p square by 2m, where m is mass of the particle, k is kinetic energy of the particle, and p is moment. The question number 4. A uniform chain of length L and mass m is lying on a smooth table and 1/3 of its length is hanging vertically down. Here, according to question, suppose this is table and a chain of length L and mass m, but 1/3 length of the chain, but 1/3 of the length of the chain is hanging. This is L upon 3, and the center of mass of the hanging part of the chain will be at the midpoint, and this position and the position of center of mass from the top of table will be L upon 6. Okay, center of mass is a point at which total mass is supposed to be concentrated. Mass of hanging part of the chain will be m by 3 because total mass is m, whose length is L, and the length of the chain on the table will be 2L upon 3, right? According to question, if G is acceleration due to gravity, the work required to pull the hanging part of the chain on the table. This means that if you pull the chain, center of mass will rise. Center of mass will rise by what distance? L upon 6. And this distance treated as height lifted. Therefore, work done will be equal to rise in potential energy of the hanging part of the chain. Therefore, work done to pull the hanging part on the table will be rise in potential energy of hanging part of the chain. Hanging part of the chain will be mgh. What will be m? M upon 3 into g, h will be L upon 6. Therefore, mgl divided by 18. This is the answer. Which option is correct? mg L by 18. Okay. If there will be another question, if whole chain is hanging, then what will be the amount of work to pull the chain on the table? In this case, this is table and this is chain. Whole chain is hanging, therefore center of mass will be this, and the position of center of mass from the top of the table will be L upon 2, and the mass of this chain will be M. Therefore, work done should be equal to mgh. H will be L by 2. Okay? Therefore, work done will be mg L by 2. If whole chain is hanging and one end is at top, work done to pull the chain, to pull whole of the chain, to pull the chain will be mgl by 2. Okay? Therefore, question will be like this also. Question number 5. A particle of mass m is moving in circular path of constant radius r such that its centripetal acceleration ac is varying with time t, as ac should be equal to k square r t square. Okay? In question, it is given that centripetal acceleration is equal to k square r t square. What is centripetal acceleration? V square upon r, k square r t square. Therefore, V is k square r square t square. Therefore, V is root under k square r square t square. This implies that V is equal to k r t. Okay? Where k is constant, the power delivered to the particle by the force acting on it. We have to find power. Power should be equal to F into V. Okay? What will be F? F should be equal to ma. First of all, we find acceleration dv by dt. This is kr. dv by dt is tangential acceleration kr. Force will be mass into acceleration. Acceleration is at into v. Mass is m into at. At is kr and v is krt. This will be equal to m k square r square t. This is power delivered. Power delivered will be equal to m k square r square t. Therefore, option B is the correct option. Okay, right? Now I am going to discuss question number 6. A stone tied to a string of length L is whirled in a vertical circle with other end of a string at the center. Okay? Here situation is this, like this. This is a stone and this is moving on vertical circular path, or this is center, okay, and the length of the string is L. This behaves as radius. At a certain instant of time, the stone is at lowest position, okay, and has a speed u. The magnitude of change in its velocity as it reaches a position where a string is horizontal. According to question, we have to find magnitude of change in velocity, okay? If a string becomes horizontal, this velocity is v and this velocity is u, okay? This velocity is v. We know that velocity of bob at any point v square should be equal to v naught square plus 2gr into cos theta minus 1, okay? V naught is u square plus 2gr and theta is 90 degree. Cos 90 0 minus 1 u square minus 2gr is L. Therefore, V is equal to root under u square minus 2gl. Right? You can also find this value by applying law of conservation of mechanical energy. We can apply law of conservation of mechanical energy between these 2 points A and B. Okay? Total mechanical energy at A should be equal to total mechanical energy at B. And from this equation, we have to find velocity at point B, like this. Okay? Now, we have to find change in velocity, magnitude of change in velocity. What will be change in velocity? Change in velocity will be root under this k square plus this k square, okay, minus 2uv. Angle is 90 degree. Cos 90 will be 0. Okay? I have already told you, if you have to find relative velocity, velocity of 2 with respect to 1 will be velocity of 2 minus velocity of 1. Here is negative sign. If you find change in velocity, what will be formula? Final minus initial. This is also negative sign, this is also negative sign. On right hand side, both expression will be same. Okay? Therefore, the process of solving question for relative velocity or change in velocity, both will be same. Here, difference of two vectors. We know that resultant of two vectors, if A vector minus B vector, then resultant will be here also negative sign, here also negative sign, here also negative sign. Therefore, resultant will be root under A square plus B square minus 2AB cos theta. Same concept we can apply here. Delta V should be equal to A square, V1 square, V2 square V2 square V1 plus V1 square minus 2 V1 V2 cos theta, where theta is 90 degree. Angle between these two vectors will be 90 degree. How it is 90 degree? How is it 90 degree? Initial velocity like this and final velocity like this. Vector can be shifted parallel to itself, therefore it will be shifted here, and angle between both will be 90. Okay? Therefore, minus 2 uv cos 90. Cos 90 will be equal to 0. U square and v is this, v square, u square minus 2g. Okay? Root under 2 u square minus 2g. This will be answer. Therefore, magnitude of change in velocity will be like this. Sorry, here we take 2x common. Okay. Therefore, answer will be this. Now I am going to solve next question. Question number 7. A force F is equal to, what is the value of force? F is equal to, here bold face letter. This bold face letter indicates vector. I have already taught you. Vector can be denoted. Any vector can be denoted by bold face letter. Here F is like bold face letter. Therefore, F is not a scalar, it is vector. F should be equal to minus k and by I cap plus x j cap. Okay? Where k is positive constant acts on a particle moving in xy plane. Particle is moving in xy plane. Starting from the origin, the particle is taken along the positive x-axis to point A0. In this question, figure is like this. This is x-axis and this is y-axis. Particle starts from origin. Okay? And it goes to the point A0. Where is A0? A0 is on the x-axis, y coordinate is 0 and x coordinate is A. Now, starting from origin, the particle is taken along positive x-axis to the point A0 and then parallel to y-axis to the point AA. The total work done by the force F on the particle. First of all, particle goes from origin to this point and then it goes from this to this, and this point is AA. Therefore, in this question, we have to find total work done by the force. Total work done by the force. Here force is variable. Here force is variable. I have already told you, whenever there is a variable quantity, then I will integrate or differentiate. If we have to find rate, then we differentiate, but we have to find summation, then I will integrate. Okay? Here force is variable. Suppose an elementary displacement dr. It is written as dx I cap plus dy j cap. Okay? Now we know that work done by a force is equal to F dot dr. In dr displacement, dr is very small displacement. It is elementary displacement. Therefore, work will be also small. Therefore, dot product of force and elementary displacement dr. What will be the value of dot product? We have to find dot product. We multiply the coefficient of I cap in both expression by dx plus x dy. Okay? This can be written as dxy. Okay? Now we displace further by elementary displacement dr. Then work will be dw. Now we displace the particle further by elementary displacement dr. Then work will be dw. Therefore, dw will be work, and total work will be the summation of these works dw. Okay? Therefore, I will integrate this expression. Total work done will be equal to W is equal to dxy. Integration of dxy. Limit from 0 to AA. 0 to AA. Okay? This will be xy and limit from 0 to AA. Here differentiation is, here dot product is, minus k is also present. Therefore, here minus k is common. Minus k, this is minus k. Okay? Therefore, minus k. Therefore, final limit is putting here a into a minus initial limit 0 into 0. Therefore, minus k square. This will be total work done by force. Which is correct? Minus ka square. Minus ka square. This is correct answer. Which option is correct? Option number C is correct. Okay? Now I am going to solve next question. A spring of force constant K is cut into two pieces. We know that as length is increased, then a spring constant. If length increases, we know that if length increases, a spring constant decreases. If length is increased, a spring constant is decreased. According to question, a spring of force constant K is cut into two pieces such that one piece is double the length of other. This means that length of one piece double the length of other. Suppose this length is divided into three equal parts, and suppose length of a spring is L, therefore each part will be L upon 3, L upon 3, L upon 3. Okay? But here one piece is double. So this piece is double of other. A spring is cut in such a way that one piece is double. Therefore, this will be L by 3, L by 3, 2L by 3. And this is L by 3. According to question, one piece is double the length of other. Here, this length is double of this length. Okay? Now, according to question, then the long piece will have a force constant. We have to find force constant of long piece. This is a long piece. We know that length of a spring, or we know that a spring constant, both are inversely proportional. We can say that K inversely proportional to L. L is 2L by 3. Therefore, K is inversely proportional. Therefore, K will be 3 by 2K. Okay? Length is inversely proportional to K. Here, ratio is 2 upon 3. Then ratio will reverse 3 upon 2. Therefore, a spring constant will be, for this length, will be 3 by 2K. Okay? Next, question number 9. A particle which is constant to move along x-axis is subjected to a force in the same direction, which varies with the distance x of the particle from origin, as fx is equal to this. Here force is given, and this value is fx is equal to minus kx plus ax cube. Okay? Here k and a are positive constant. For x greater than or equal to 0, the functional form of the potential energy, we have to find potential energy. We know that force is equal to minus du by dx. Okay? Therefore, we can put the value of this. Here x is only shows the variation of x. F is a function of x. Okay? F depends on x. F depends on x. minus du upon dx minus kx plus ax cube. Therefore, we have to find potential energy. Potential energy will be du should be equal to minus plus kx dx minus ax cube dx. Okay. Now we integrate both sides. I am going to integrate both sides. This limit will be 0 to u and 0 to x. It can be written as u should be equal to k x square by 2. Now a x to the power 4 by 4. This will be the value of integration. If u is 0, then kx square by 2 minus ax 4 divided by 4 should be equal to 0. Therefore, x square k by 2 minus ax square by 4 will be equal to 0. Either this 0 or this 0. This 0 means x is equal to 0. This is also 0. So k by 2 minus a or this 0 ax square by 4 should be equal to 0. This divided ax square by 4 is equal to k by 2. This will be x square बराबर 2k by a. This will be x should be equal to root under 2k by a. U will be 0 at 2 points. At 2 points 0 and root under 2k by a. Here potential energy is 0 at 2 points. This may be possible. This may be possible, but other point is at infinity. But after calculation, we cannot find infinity. Okay? We have not find infinity. Here, one point is this, and other point is infinity. This is not possible. This is not possible. Here, one point is 0 and other point is this. Okay, this may be possible. Now, I am going to du by dx. Du by dx is force. Okay, du by dx is force. Here, plot between potential energy and x. Therefore, du by dx represents force, means slope. If x is 0, then f is also 0, means du by dx is 0. Therefore, slope is 0. In this figure, at x is equal to 0, but slope is not 0. At x is equal to 0, but slope is not 0. But in this figure, at x is equal to 0, slope is 0. Okay? We have to find slope. For finding slope first of all we draw tangent, okay, and this tangent makes an angle with x-axis, in anti-clockwise direction, Suppose this angle is theta, therefore tan theta will be slope. I have already taught you. But here at x is equal to 0, we draw tangent. This tangent is parallel to x-axis, means this tangent makes an angle 0 degree with x-axis. Therefore, slope will be tan 0. What is the value of tan 0? 0. Here slope at x barabar 0. Here slope at x is equal to 0. Here slope at x is equal to 0 is 0. But here slope is not 0. Therefore, this option satisfies the condition of question. Therefore, option B will be the correct option. Okay. Now I am going to solve question number, which question? Question number 10. A simple pendulum is oscillating without damping. A simple pendulum is oscillating without damping. Without damping means amplitude is gradually decreasing. Damping means amplitude is gradually decreasing, but without damping means amplitude will remain constant. Okay. A simple pendulum is oscillating without damping means a simple pendulum oscillates with constant amplitude when the displacement of bob is less than maximum. Its acceleration vector A is correctly shown. Maximum displacement is called amplitude, but here it is less than maximum. Suppose maximum is this. Here maximum is this. Here V should be equal to 0. But here V not equal to 0. Therefore, this bob has two acceleration. One is tangential acceleration and other is centripetal acceleration. Okay. Therefore, net acceleration will be, we take resultant, a vector can be shifted parallel to itself. Therefore, the resultant of these two vectors will be from tail of first vector to the head of last vector. This is resultant, and this is net acceleration. This acceleration is centripetal and this acceleration is net acceleration. Okay. This is net acceleration. Which is correct? This is not possible because only tangential acceleration. This is not possible, this is possible. This is tangential, this is normal, and resultant of these two acceleration will be this. Now I am going to solve question number 11. An ideal spring with a spring constant K is hung from the ceiling and a block of mass M is attached to lower end. Here, according to figure, according to question, figure will be this. This is a spring. Its one is connected to ceiling and other end is connected to a block, and the spring constant is K. Now, according to question, the mass is released with a spring initially unstretched. Unstretched means original length of a spring. Means there is no extension or compression. Initially there is no extension or compression. Then the maximum extension in the spring. We have to find in this question. We have to find maximum extension in this question. Okay, right? We can find maximum extension by different methods. One method is, first of all, you find extension of this spring at mean position. At mean position. And maximum extension will be double of extension in the spring at mean position. Just double. According to question, we find first of all the extension in a spring at mean position. At mean position. What is the mean position? Mean position is the position at which net external force will be equal to 0. Therefore, we draw free body diagram of the block at mean position. Vertically upward force will be Kx0. This force will be a spring force exerted by the spring at mean position, and mg is the gravitational force. Okay, mg is the gravitational force. At mean position, we know that net external force acting on the system will be equal to 0. This will be possible only when Kx0 should be equal to mg. Resultant of any two vectors will be equal to 0 if they have equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. Okay. Therefore, extension in the spring at mean positions will be mg upon k, and maximum extension will be twice of the extension in the spring at mean position. Therefore, 2 mg upon k. This will be answer. You can calculate maximum extension by applying law of conservation of mechanical energy also. Now I am going to solve this question by second method. By second method. Here initial velocity of the block is 0 and it is released. Initially mg is greater. Initially mg is greater than a spring force. Therefore, resultant force will be in downward direction and velocity is also in downward direction. We know that if the directions of velocity and acceleration are same, then magnitude of velocity increases. Initially, magnitude of velocity of block increases, but after mean position, suppose this is mean position, but after mean position, at mean position kx naught is equal to mg, but after mean position mg will remain constant, and kx will increase because extension will increase. Therefore, kx greater than mg after main position. Therefore, resultant force will be in upward direction. Resultant force will be in upward direction. Therefore, acceleration will be also in upward direction, but velocity in downward direction. If directions of acceleration and velocity are opposite, then magnitude of velocity is gradually decreasing. Velocity gradually decreases to 0. Final velocity will be 0. Okay? Now we can apply law of conservation of mechanical energy between these 2 points. Mechanical energy at A should be equal to total mechanical energy at B. So by law of conservation of mechanical energy, we know that total mechanical energy at A should be equal to total mechanical energy at B. Mechanical energy means sum of potential and kinetic energy, right? Potential energy of block at A plus kinetic energy of block at A plus a spring energy, plus potential energy of a spring at A, okay, or this is B or this is B. Potential energy of block at A, kinetic energy of block at A, potential energy of a spring at A. Okay? Potential energy of block at B plus potential energy of a spring at B plus kinetic energy of block at B. Okay? Here potential energy, we assume a reference line. We take a reference line. We can take a reference line at here, at here, at here. You can take a reference line anywhere. But for simple calculation, we take reference line at this position or at this position. For easy calculation, you should take a reference line either at initial position or final position. But you can free to take a reference line anywhere. We suppose this is a reference line, and at this reference line gravitational potential energy will be equal to 0, and this is maximum extension in the spring. Okay? If we measure from midpoint, then this also will be midpoint. Okay? Potential energy at A, because here reference line is taken, therefore potential energy at A will be 0. Potential energy of a spring is also 0, because potential energy of a spring will be half kx square, where x is extension or compression in the spring. At initial position, a spring is at natural length, therefore a spring has no extension or compression. Therefore, potential energy of a spring at initial position will be 0. Kinetic energy is also 0 because it is released from this position. It is released from this position. Initial velocity of this block is 0. Therefore, kinetic energy is also 0. Potential energy is also 0. But potential energy of block at B will be minus mgh. mgh. What is m? Capital M? mgh. H is x. Okay? Potential energy of a spring at B. Potential energy of a spring is always positive. Therefore, half kx square. X is xm. Okay? Kinetic energy of block, final velocity is also 0. Therefore, kinetic energy of block will be 0 at final position. Therefore, in question, we have to find maximum extension in the spring. Therefore, from this equation, we have to find maximum extension. mgxm should be equal to half k into xm square. Therefore, 1 xm is cancelled out. Therefore, xm should be equal to 2 mg by k. This will be maximum extension. Okay? Which method is easy? Easy method. This method is easy method. This is first method. We can solve either, you can solve by either this method or this method. This method is very easy. First of all, we find extension in the spring at mean position, and then you will find maximum extension in the spring, or maximum extension in the spring will be equal to the twice of extension in the spring at mean position or equilibrium position. Therefore, answer will be equal to, which is correct option? B is the correct option, 2 mg upon k. If in a question we have to find extension at mean position, then which option will be correct? mg upon k. Now I am going to solve next question number 12. If W1 and W2 and W3 represent the work done in moving a particle from A to B, particle from A to B along 3 different paths, 1, 2, 3 respectively as shown, in the gravitational field of a point mass m, find the correct relation between W1, W2, W3. We know that work done by any conservative force, work done by any conservative force does not depend on path followed by a particle. Work done by any conservative force does not depend on path taken, does not depend on path followed by a particle. Okay? Therefore, work will be same if you work done by the gravitational force, because gravitational force is conservative force, and we know that by any conservative force, work done, sorry, we know that work done by any conservative force will be same for all paths. Here, initial and final position are same. Work done by any conservative force only depends on initial and final positions, but it does not depend on different paths. Here, initial and final position are same. Therefore, work done by gravitational force along three different paths will be same. Therefore, option B is the correct option. Now I am going to solve next question, question number 30. A particle is placed at the origin and a force F is equal to kx is acting on it. If u0 is equal to 0, the graph ux versus x, u0 is equal to 0 means x is 0, then potential energy is 0, means passing through origin. This plot is passing through origin, this plot is passing through origin, this plot is passing through origin, this plot is passing through origin. Okay? Now, here f is equal to kx, therefore f is minus du by dx. We know that f is equal to minus du by dx. Now, du is equal to minus kx dx. After integrating this equation, u should be equal to, if x is 0, u is 0, according to question. If x is 0, u is 0. If x is x, u is u. Therefore, u should be equal to minus half kx square. Okay? Here, u is minus half kx square. Here, u is minus half kx square. Clear? Right? This is quadratic form. Therefore, quadratic equation represents parabola. Therefore, B and D will not be correct. A may be correct or C may be correct. Here, u is equal to minus half kx square. Therefore, parabola will be vertically downward. This option is correct. Because any value of x, potential energy will be always negative. Any value of x, potential energy is always negative. If you put the value of x which is either negative or positive, potential energy is always negative. Okay? Therefore, this option will not be correct because here potential energy is always positive above the origin, above this line will be positive, but here this line graph is below x-axis, therefore potential energy always is negative. Below x-axis is negative, above x-axis is positive. Therefore, potential energy is always negative. Therefore, here which option is correct? A option is the correct option. Now I am going to solve question number 40. Look here on the board. Here question is asking from you. What is asking? The angle theta at which the speed of bob is half. We have to find which quantity. We have to find theta. Okay. Here question is, a bob of mass m is suspended by a massless string of length L. The horizontal velocity v at position A is just sufficient to make it reach the point B. Here velocity is just sufficient to reach the point B. Means just complete the circle. For just complete the circle, what will be the velocity at lowest point? I have already discussed. This velocity will be 5gr, where r is this. Here r is equal to L. Therefore, root under 5gl. Okay. Now, according to question, the horizontal velocity v at position A is just sufficient to make it reach the point B. The angle theta at which a speed of the bob is half of that at A. Here, a speed of bob at angle theta is half of velocity at A, means v upon 2. Okay. Then we have to find angle theta. We know that v square should be equal to v naught square plus 2gr into cos theta minus 1. V is v by 2 and this v is v plus 2g r is L cos theta minus 1. Okay. This v is v square by 4 minus v square is equal to 2gl cos theta minus 1, and this is minus 3 by 4 v square 2gl cos theta minus 1. Okay. This is minus 3 by 4 v square is what? Root under 5gl. V square is equal to 5gl. 5gl. 2gl. This gl cancel out. Cos theta minus 1. Therefore, minus 15 by 8 is equal to cos theta minus 1. Therefore, cos theta is equal to 1 minus 15 by 8. Okay. This will be equal to minus 7 by 8. Cos theta is negative. Cos theta is negative means angle will be greater than 90. Angle will be greater than 90. Greater than 90. This will not be possible. This will not be possible. This will not be possible. Greater than 90. This is less than 90. Not possible. Okay. Which option is correct? Please tell me. So here which option is correct? Value is minus 7 by 8 means approximately 0.87 approx. Okay, ma'am? Approx 0.87. Okay. This means that if theta is pi, then value is minus 1. But this value is greater than minus 1. Therefore, angle will be less than pi, because as angle is increases, value of cos theta decreases. Which is greater, minus 1 greater or 0.87 greater? This is greater now. It is greater than this. Okay. Therefore, angle of this will be 180 degree and angle of this will be less than 180 degree, because as theta increases, value decreases. Theta will be less than 180 degree. Theta will be less than 180 degree. This will be also possible, but first of all we find cos 3 pi by 4. This option will not be possible, this option will not be possible, because angle will be greater than pi by 2. This may be possible, this may be possible. Now we check cos 3 pi by 4. Cos pi minus pi by 4. This can be written as cos pi minus pi by 4. This will be minus cos pi by 4. This means minus 1 by root 2. This means minus root 2 by 2. This means this means minus 1.414 upon 2 means minus 0.707. Okay, right? This value, but after calculation, value of cos theta is 0.87. Here, which is greater? This is greater. This is greater and this is less. Therefore, as theta increases, value of cos theta decreases. This value is less than this. Therefore, angle will be greater than 3 pi by 4. Okay? Therefore, this option will be rejected and correct option will be this, because theta will be greater than 3 pi by 4. According to this, because this quantity is less than this, therefore angle theta is greater than 3 pi by 4. Okay. Now I am going to solve the last question, question number 15. This question is very long, but solution is very short. A block B is attached to two unstretched spring S1 and S2 with a spring constant K and 4K. This is S1 and S2. S1 is K and S2 is 4K. Okay. Respectively, the other ends are attached to two supports M1 and M2. Okay. Right. Not attached to the wall. These blocks are not attached to the wall. Means if a spring pulls the block will move. If a spring pulls the block will move. Blocks are not attached to the wall. Okay, right? The other ends are attached to two supports M1 and M2 not attached to the walls. The spring and supports have negligible mass. In this question, a spring and supports have negligible mass. Okay? There is no friction anywhere. Means a smooth surface. Now, the block B is displaced towards wall. B is displaced towards wall 1 by a small distance x and released. What will happen if B is displaced? B is displaced towards wall 1 by which amount? By x amount the block is displaced. If block is displaced x towards the wall 1, therefore a spring elongates. A spring elongates, then a spring exerts force on this block M2 and block is not attached to the wall, therefore block also moves towards this. Okay? And block moves towards this and final extension in this spring will be 0. But this block is moves towards the wall 1, therefore this spring compresses by x. Therefore this spring has potential energy but this spring has no potential energy. Okay? Therefore initial condition, according to initial condition, total energy of the system will be half kx square. Okay? Now the block returns and moves a maximum distance by if the block is displaced towards wall 1 by a small distance and released, the block returns and moves a maximum distance by towards wall 2, displaces. Now here you can see that if this block moves towards wall 1, then this spring compresses and this block moves towards this. Okay? And this block is released. Then a spring is pushing. Therefore, a block B moves towards wall 2, okay, and moves towards wall 2. If block moves towards wall 2, this block is also moves towards wall 2, because this block moves towards this direction. A spring has a compression. Therefore, a spring exerts a force on the block M2. Therefore, mass M2 moves towards wall 2 and stop. But block B moves towards wall 2 by which distance? By what distance? By distance. Therefore, this spring will be compressed, and this spring has no extension and no compression, because this block moves towards this. This block is not attached with wall, therefore this block also moves towards this. Therefore, this spring has no extension or compression, but this spring has compression, and this will be, compression is y. Therefore, this will be half 4K or 2K. What is the spring constant? 4K or 2K? 4K. 4K into by square. Okay? Because friction is absent, there is no energy loss. Therefore, total energy in initial case will be equal to total energy in final case. Therefore, this is equal to this. We have to find ratio of y and x. Half cancel out. K is also cancel out. Therefore, y upon x square should be equal to 1 upon 4. Therefore, y upon x should be equal to 1 by 2. Which is correct? This option is correct. Okay? This question is very long, but solution is very short. Therefore, you should not leave any question if question is very long. If question is very long, then its solution will be generally very short. Now I am going to end the class. See you again tomorrow. For today, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Have a nice day.